Hi folks, and welcome back to my top 200 games of 2021. We are on numbers 160 through 151. My first one, number 160, has been in my collection for 3 years. And it's basically two games. Even though they are different, I combined them here on the same list. It's Rhino Hero and Rhino Hero Super Battle. There is a big difference between both of these games. One is just basically kind of stacking cards until the whole tower topples, or trying to get rid of all your cards. And then the Super Battle is a little bit more complex, as you're building layers, about 3 tiers of layers, and moving your specific superhero up that tower and being the highest one up there until it eventually collapses and falls over. Both of these games are hilarious. They are tons of fun, and I can recommend either one. In fact, I see there's Superhero, and I don't know where Super Battle is. Must be somewhere around here. These games are a whole heck of a lot of fun. I can play either one over and over again all day if I wanted to, because you get a lot of laughs out of this. And even though Hanga is for children, this one's a great family game. I play this with my adult gaming group, and everyone loves it. Who doesn't like the stacking game, the card stacking game and everything? It's so much fun. This is the highest it's ever been on my list. When it debuted on my list, it was 187. It slipped down to 195 last year, and now it rose 35 spots up here, just because I love playing it, and we just have so much fun. And so I don't doubt that this thing would move up my list. I mean, heck, if I didn't have as many games, obviously it'd move up even higher, I think. Because it's just, I get to play it more and more. The more I play it, the more I love it. So again, not just for kids, Rhino Hero. And if you had to get one, probably Super Battle for kids. They really like that. I don't know. I mean, if you want to save space, Rhino Hero, the regular one, I mean, this thing is small here, so it's definitely worth it. Number 159 is another great game I've had in my collection for 4 years now. It's called Formula E. It's basically a play off the game Formula D, except this time you're racing with elephants. Whenever we play this game, we don't play it once. We bring it out and we play it about 4 times and then put it back on the shelf. Because the games go really quick. You're basically playing cards, moving your elephant around the board, moving cattle, moving mice, playing cards on other players, snakes on other players and stuff, and it's just wild, zany fun. And everyone loves Formula E in my gaming group. I do, and me included. This game has been in my collection for 4 years, like I said. Those first 2 years, it was in my top 100 when I didn't have that many. I guess I didn't have that many games. I don't know, but it was number 77, number 90, and then it took a big dive at 169 because we weren't playing it as often. We still played a lot, but I think I only got to play it once the last year, so that's why the big drop was. And then it's moved up about 10 solid spots since then, because we have played it multiple times. Like I said, about 4 times. It got played that one night, and then I put it up, and we may have played it again later on this year, but it does get plays. It's fun. It's not, I mean, there's some strategy when playing the cards, but it's just more of a fun game. Like, everyone has a great time. I'll be honest, I think I win most of the time. Somehow the cards just flop my way. I mean, that is luck of the luck of the draw, which you get played, because I've lost when I just don't have the cards to move any further and the other person does. That sucks, but it happens. I know they thought about putting a reprint on this game, but I guess that's just gone now. That option's off the table, because I don't hear anyone talking about this one coming back anytime soon, and that's a shame, because it was a fun game. My number 158 is Hanga again, Hanga. Boy, I love Hanga. You're playing these like disc-sized cards. These are cards, circle cards, and they're divided into 4 quarters with paw prints on some of them, on 3 of the 4 spaces or 2 of the 4 spaces. And you rearrange it anywhere you want on the board, and you're taking that many actions according to the paw print. So if there's 2 paw prints over here where there's fish, you take 2 fish. If there's 3 paw prints over on the temple, you move your little caveman up the temple. But you always need 1 paw print in the middle of the board, and that's where Hanga is. If you don't pet Hanga or give him attention, he'll come to live with you. And that's bad, because once he lives with you, it's hard to get rid of him. And he will start eating all of your goods, from the biggest to the smallest. And so he's a little bit of a pest. Now, you can still win with Hanga eating up your goods. My nephew was not afraid of Hanga, had him almost from the very beginning and kept him throughout the whole game and ended up winning too. I mean, my nephew was just that good with it. But the game is, like I said, meant for kids, but I play this with my adult gaming group all the time, and we absolutely love it. I love it. This is my favorite hobby game. You know, I mean, Rhino Hero is right there, but Hanga is the better game by far. It's so much fun to play. It's got a decent price on it now, so it's definitely worth getting. When it first debuted on my list, it was $158, believe it or not. Then it slipped down to $190, and now it went right back up to where it started at $158. I found that kind of amusing because I didn't catch that when I was putting this list together. But yeah, so Hanga, try it out. Really, I think this game will surprise you. All right, my number 157 is the highest it's ever been on my list here. This is Bootleggers. Oh my goodness, from Eagle Griffin Games. Bootleggers is so much fun. It's during the dry period when alcohol was illegal, and so they're, you know, moonshining it and making those little distilleries and you're peddling out, you're a gangster peddling out your alcohol to all the clubs, all the nightclubs. And of course, you're also trying to put your influence markers, which are these little gangster figures, on each one of these casinos, because if you own a big majority stake, you could get a take of all the liquor that's being sold, and you get a say on who can sell liquor to that casino or not, that way screwing over some of your opponents. Each round begins with an auction, and you are bidding, you know, silent bidding, you know, where everyone's putting down a card face down, flipping it over, and the highest card will get to choose first, and so on and so forth. Sometimes you use your low cards when you're like, well, all of these cards are good, so I don't care which one I get. Or all these cards I'm not interested in, so I'll use a low one. But sometimes you really need a high one because you really want to get whatever is out there. Mainly trucks. There's only one truck that comes out per turn. At first you won't be using trucks, then after a while you'll be begging for anyone. You can even trade with other people, like offer them money to use their truck for that one turn. That's allowed. And it's really cool. This game just gets more interesting as we play it. And this year, it also has one of the worst expansions ever. Casinos, boardwalk casinos or something like that. Boardwalk, maybe that's what it's called. It's called Bootleggers. This sucks. It was not play tested, and it's been awful. I got it with the base game because I thought, oh, that's great. I want to see what this expansion does, but it's totally worthless. You can never win if you use it. If you take advantage of buying a casino, because it takes away all your money, which you were going to have to win the game, and then after that, no one wants to sell that casino, even though they're paying top dollar. You're going to get a cut of it, and they definitely don't want to give you a cut of any of their money, so they'll just avoid going there. So we kind of change it up to say, hey, because if you buy a casino, that means you're out of the business completely. Like, you can't even sell liquor, so you can't even make any more points anymore. Like, everyone's supposed to go to your casino after that and give you the win. It makes no sense. So we changed up the rule to say, okay, you can buy a casino, you can't sell there, but you can still, you know, make alcohol and sell it to all the other nightclubs. And the thing is, if you bought a casino, you can eliminate someone else's majority in it too. If you didn't have majority there, just buy it out. Now it's your casino. No one else can say anything about it. Now, even when we do it that way, I'm the only one who takes advantage of this. I still lost the game because you pay so much stinking money to purchase that casino. You're out of the running completely because, again, everyone's going to avoid going to your casino because they don't want you getting a cut of their alcohol. I mean, they get big payment, they get a big payout, but you do too, and they don't want to give you a big payout. So I don't know if we're ever going to utilize the expansion like it should be. I know there's a Thug promo for this, like just a little small deck of cards. I've been looking high and low for this. I mean, everywhere. And I can't get anyone, the people who have it for trade on Board Game Geek, they don't respond back. I want that little promo for this game, and I cannot find it anywhere. It's not on Eagle Griffin Games website. Maybe I could ask and see if they have one kicking, but man, I want that Thug promo now. I want everything with this game. Debuted on my list 3 years ago at 173, moved down to 183, but now it has jumped up 26 spots on my list. Like I said, it's just a fun game, and the game just continues to surprise me and please me, even though I don't usually win it that much. But I do love it. Bootleggers. My number 156 has been in my collection for 3 years as well. It is called Pursuit of Happiness. It's the game of life on steroids where you're making decisions, and every round is a decade. You start as you're 18 and then move on from there, where you can get married or not get married. You can get a job or not get a job. I went the whole last game I played, I did not have a job. I just bummed off things, made money different ways. Any way I could cash in and make money and get happiness here and there, I did. But I was a bum my entire life. And you know, someone else got married, you know, had some kids. I did that one too. And you can have kids in the expansions. And we play with all the expansions, which you probably shouldn't do. The only thing that sucks about this one is Pursuit of Happiness, the experiences expansion. No one utilizes that. It's really a waste, and that's sad. It's a great idea. You get a dream, and then if you complete it in time, you'll get some bonus points. But when you have so many other things you have to do, it's just not worth doing. It's not worth the points. Like even the community expansion is really not worth that many points, but people do it anyway because they have a exclusive piece that can be in the community, so why not play it for that community? All the other little mini expansions like your best friends you can fight over, or your own achievement goals or event cards and stuff like that, or inheritance, you know, all that stuff we play with, and it's fun, and you can get a lot of points this way, and you can really start. My nephew, I played this a couple of times this year. My nephew wanted to play this game. He saw it. I told him what it was about. He was just obsessed with playing it, and he did very good. I mean, very good. He died off like I lasted 1 decade longer. My 2 complaints. One, they came up with a big box that has an exclusive expansion. I hate when they do that. I want to see what that exclusive expansion gives to the game. I don't think I ever will. Secondly, they need more cards with the hearts. You know what I'm talking about. The ones that make you healthier and give you some extra life. Those are very rare, and I grab them every time they come up just because I want to live to the 9th or 8th round, you know, which usually you're dead by then. You're dead by the 7th round. But it's nice, even though you're in just a few actions, you can't do much. Just every little bit counts, and it feels great when you're the only survivor. I think I lasted 1 round. I think I lasted to 8, you know, and died off right before my nephew died the decade before. I was like, I'm still trucking along, and made like 2 decisions to make some extra points, and I don't know if I won. I can't remember. This game's really fun. I love playing it. In the past years, when it debuted on my list as 122, I was super impressed with it. It went down to 164 because experiences just wasn't that good, and we didn't really utilize it. I wasn't playing it that much. Now it shoves up about 8 spots, which is really good considering all the new games that came in. So it swam upstream on the list and made it here at 156. 155 is the game Valletta. This game I see on clearance all the time, and it is a shame. Easy game. You got a deck of cards, you grab some, you put your actions down in the order you want to take them. They are getting resources, building buildings, doing different things, getting money. And so as you're doing this, you're buying buildings on the board and you're putting your house there. And as you're doing that, you're grabbing the card that's associated to that house. Now, if you want some victory points, you can upgrade that building later on with some more resources. But now you've added another unique card to your deck. This is deck building in a way. And it's so much fun. There's so much going on here. The first time I played this, I was wowed. I was like, this game is incredible. It's a game that's right up my alley. And my first year, 3 years ago, it was number 36. You talk about cult of the new. You can't help it, right? But I was like, this is it. This is a great game. It didn't take off. No one really cares for this game. I don't know why, because my gaming group, we love it. Now, I only got to play it once last year, which is why it free-falled to 165. It kind of got forgotten, lost. But this year, it kind of moves up 10 spots, which is not bad. It's going to make its comeback slowly but surely. It's going to move back up the list. I don't know if it'll ever be in my top 10 again, because we just don't, again, we only played it once this year. And I don't know why that, I mean, I do know why that is. It just gets forgotten about. I just never think about it. I'm trying to look on my shelf, because where it is on the shelf can matter too. But whenever I'm going for a game, for some reason, I don't get it. I don't grab it, and I don't know why. But I do love it. Every time it comes out, I have a great time. My gaming group has a great time. You know, it's a game that I can win and lose at, because hand management and getting, man, if you get the good combos, see, because a lot of people, you look at the buildings for victory points, or mainly the card. You should be looking at the card. I just look at, I'll build whatever I can and upgrade whatever I can. I try to get as many buildings out there as I can to get as many points. But I should probably be looking at those cards, because those cards make a big difference on what power moves you can make. And the times I've lost, it's because people go specifically for certain cards, not for values of victory points. And again, that's the greatness of this game. So Valletta, awesome game. Love it. My number 154 has also been in my collection for 3 years, and it's called Milestones. I saw this like a lot of people I think did on Rhino Runs Through. He talked about it being one of the most underrated games out there, and I was like, well, I got to get it. So I tried it, and I get what he means. It's very simple. Your board is your own personal rondel where you can go as far as you want, but you can't go backwards. And to stop you from hoarding goods at the very end, the king has to take his tax share, which limits you down to the bare bones minimum and takes away one of your workers. So you're constantly have to hire new workers to gain new resources, to take those resources to process into other supplies, and then use those supplies to build certain things, fences, houses, millstones and stuff like that, and just to get to trigger victory points in the game. It is so smooth. This game plays so smoothly, and it's another game that I see super cheap all the time, and I agree with Rado, very underrated. When it first debuted on my list, I was careful about it. I put it at 189, and it has gone up ever since. It went up to 156 last year, and this year it only goes up 2 spots, but that's not bad seeing all the games that I've added in over it. But at 154, it's a great game. It's probably going to continue to go up. The more I just want to play it more and more. So Milestones, excellent game. 154. My number 153 has been in my collection for 5 years, and it is Shakespeare. Shakespeare, you're putting on a play, and you're basically drafting cards each round. You got to play this with the backstage expansion. It's just a deck of cards, and it is well worth it. Again, in my initial review, I feel bad because I said it's just a deck of cards. It costs too much, but I'm gonna play with it because I paid a lot for it. I paid 20 bucks for it. Man, it doesn't matter. It's a great. You have to have that deck of cards. The backstage expansion makes such a big deal. It's such a big deal. Adds so much flavor to the game, and I never will play without it. I even got the little, I think it's Prospero expansion card. I don't care about it, but either way, I just wanted everything about this because you are making points by building costumes, by building set designs, by working on all 3 of your acts, by keeping your group, your little troupe happy the whole time, and of course making money to make sure you can pay your actors at the end of the show when you actually do the performance. It's a very low scoring game, but a lot's going on, and it doesn't feel like you're drudging through anything. The artwork's great. I love everything about this. A Shakespeare fan would really love this. I don't even care if they're in the board games. You show them this game, they will be impressed. Even though it's not a beginner's game, it's not a gateway game, as they say. It's a pretty intense game with a lot of strategy. But anyone into Shakespeare would absolutely go gaga over this. Like I was the first 2 years, I had this on my top 100 at 49 and then at 88. Then it dropped to 165. It's kind of been zipping up and down ever since then. It went up to 155. Here it goes up another 2 more spots to 153. So it's hanging in there, and it's still a great game. I just don't get to play it as much. I used to play with a theater group, and oddly enough, I hate Shakespeare. I hate Shakespeare plays. I hate them. I despise them. But I know that theater group really got a kick out of it, and they really enjoyed it. So for them, it was really fun. And for non-theater people, they would enjoy it too, because everyone, and to some extent, is familiar with Shakespeare. So I get the theme, and I enjoy the theme, even though I don't enjoy any of his plays. My number 152, this is weird. It was in its sophomore season, and it was 152 last year. It's Manitoba. Man, I never hear anything about this game, and it's kind of sad because I think the totem aspect of the game, like how many actions you pull from the totem and you flip it upside down, that's the actions anyone can take. Go watch my review or someone else's to see what I'm talking about there, is so unique. Because it is thought-provoking. Even though in the last game we played, everyone took the entire totem, and there wasn't any no one played with any strategy, I think. But it's so much fun because there's like 4 different tracks you can go up, and whichever path you take, it's just different paths to victory, in my opinion. And then, of course, how you collect your resources and how you balance that collection. You don't want too much of this or you'll start losing points. You want as much of this as you can. Also, you want to sell this one. It's kind of at the middle or something, or you want to get a string of how the order you collect things can also give you some more bonus points, which you definitely want in this game. There's so much going on with this game. It has so many unique mechanisms I haven't seen before. It's so much fun. I don't know. Again, I am the king of looking at these games that are under the radar that no one else looks at. And I'm just weird. You're not going to see any of these big games that are on other people's list here. I mean, you might see a few, but not that many. Not that many. I look at other people's top 100, and if I can pick 5 that are on my list, they're doing good. The 10, They're amazing, but my list is very different from everyone else's, and I guess so because I know no one who even puts this. If they did a top 200, they would not put Manitoba on there, but I would put it at 152, in fact. And then finally, number 151 has been in my collection for 3 years. It is Ticket to Ride, but with buildings, and it's Urbana. Oh man, this is such a fun game. Points can score, you can start scoring points really quick in this game. You're basically just gaining resource cards and then developing pieces of this city piece by piece and getting victory points along the way. There are other ways. There are gold cards you can grab that can give you in-game bonus points that if you grab early, they cost low because you don't know what your game plan is. You may not have that. And then later on, if you're thinking, ooh, I'm about to score that, I need to get that. Well, then their cost is very high. And I like how that balances out. Everyone who plays this tells me it's just like Ticket to Ride, but with cities. And here's the funny thing. I despise Ticket to Ride. I cannot stand it. You'd think it'd be a game right up my wheelhouse, but I hate it because, man, there's only, sometimes there's only one track or one way to get to this from city to city. And if someone takes it, you're screwed. You have to pick a new route. And then when that route gets taken, you're screwed because you can't get the right colors you want. Where in Urbana, I mean, if someone takes the building right next to the one you were working on, don't worry. There's a billion other buildings that you can take, and no one's blocking you. Okay, you can expand in any of the 4 directions. And as more buildings get built, that's just more choices you can have. So you're never going to be blocked out of an option there. So that's why I like it. But if people love Ticket to Ride, they'll love Urbana. I did get the little expansion. I can't remember. It's like the multicolored hats, the wild cards. It's fine, but we don't really recognize it with or without. It doesn't make the game any better. You know, it doesn't make it any worse either. But Urbana is just such a great game. And like I said, everyone who plays it, you know, gamers who played Ticket to Ride, they go, huh, you know what this reminds me of? I can say Ticket to Ride, and they're like, yeah, how'd you know? It reminds everyone, which is kind of weird why I love it so much. It started off on my list really high. I mean, it almost made it in my top 100. It was 107. I was playing it all the time. Of course, then it dropped to 125. It drops down 26 spots here. I only played it once this year. I just didn't have time. And I remember it was at the end of the night, I think, and we were kind of rushed. So everyone was trying to hurry up and get it done. Either way, like I said, the experience wasn't the best at the same time too. Because I remember, oh yeah, I know what was going on. Yeah, we had some people trying to say goodbye forever, and we were trying to get this gameplay because everyone else was going, yeah, I'm going to have to go in a minute. How much longer will this take? And you're like, guys, if you had to go, why did you say 30 minutes earlier that you could sit down and play this game? Even though you know most games are an hour. So, kind of irked me there. But I remember that was the night that happened. So we were also trying to rush through this and just trying to get it done and end the game really quick. And I hate when that happens. So maybe a little bit of that bad experience dropped it down a little bit. But it doesn't matter. Urbana is still a great game. Hey folks, that is it for now. Come back next time with 10 more board games from my top 200. See you then.